So, hey guys, welcome to Slamazon Bros Live Week 10. It's hard to believe that this is our 10th show, but Andy and I are having a lot of fun doing this, and so time is flying. I'm super excited about today's show. I know Andy's going to bring the energy and the motivation today to get us all really pumped up. So today's about awaken and embrace the Amazon sales channel. And I know Andy has a lot to say about this. He's passionate about it, and that's why I'm so excited. And as we get into this, I just want to remind everyone to follow us at slamazonbros.com. That's where all of our content is, where we're actively updating things. And then also to join us in the Slamazon Bros Facebook group. We're there. We're chatting with people. We're answering questions. And it's a great group. It's a lot of fun, and it's growing. It's growing fast. So we're excited about that. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you don't mind giving us a thumbs up, subscribe, and then leave a comment what you liked and what you didn't like about the show. We really appreciate that. But yeah, I'm really pumped about today's show. We're going to learn why Andy loves this business, what he feels like is going to happen going forward with Amazon and e-commerce, and basically just to get some good motivation from Andy. I feel like all small business owners, especially people who are Amazon sellers or e-commerce sellers, should have an attitude like Andy's. Andy is really positive. He's really energetic, and I feel like it helps his business. It helps him grow. It helps him meet other people, and I really feel like other people should try to have an attitude like his. And I know when I partner up and hang out with him and watch him on these shows, it helps motivate me. So, Andy, I'm going to let you get into it. Why don't you tell us what you like about Amazon, what you've done so far, where you're heading within your business, and why we should embrace the Amazon sales channel. So I'll throw it over to you, Andy.
Okay, sure. Hey, just want to give a shout out to folks that are in the chat room. Thanks so much for tweeting the show. We really appreciate it. Adam, Nora, Jason. If you guys know Jason and Chris Wilkie, tremendous, knowledgeable Amazon sellers. They come out of a few different groups. FBA Masters is one of them. So if you ever see any post that either of those guys make, you want to check them out. Jennifer, thanks again. I see you tweeted as well. I really appreciate that. Jennifer actually just launched her first course, so which is awesome, Jennifer. I know for me, when I first did that, it was definitely out of my comfort zone, was really scared, really worried. So I'm sure you felt that as well, but I think that's awesome that you stepped out and you did something that was different, right, and out of your comfort zone. So that's cool. So thanks you guys again for sharing. I just think it's awesome that, so we have it looks like 38 people right now. And a lot of times Amazon sellers will kind of, veteran Amazon sellers will get down on folks that talk about selling on Amazon. They kind of have the mindset that the sky is falling, right? And it's like the ship is sinking. And here we are. I think we're going to really give some great information. And there's still only about 38 people, 40 people that show up. And so to me, again, it just shows that the market is wide open. And even though there may be more sellers coming in, there continues to be more customers that are going to be coming to the Amazon marketplace. So I'm going to get into the show right now, and you'll see kind of why I'm so stoked and why I'm so pumped and why I enjoy selling on Amazon so much. So my high school coach, right, he used to say to us, the players all the time, he would say, "Slammins, is the juice worth the squeeze?" We didn't really understand what he was saying at first, but he would say it again. He would say, "Slammins, is the juice worth the squeeze?" And so I'm going to use that phrase today as we talk about Amazon and as we talk about the energy, the effort, right, that goes into building an Amazon business. I ask you, right, is the juice worth the squeeze? And I'll be honest, my answer to that question is I think it is. I think the juice that we get from squeezing our energy and our effort into Amazon is definitely worth the squeeze. So my thesis statement today is that the juice that Amazon provides you and I is worth far more than the squeeze that we have to give it. So Nate and I titled the broadcast, "Awaken and Embrace the Amazon Sales Channel." So Nate and I are squeezing everything we can, right, out of Amazon, because I'm sure just like a lot of you in the chat room, you've tasted the juice, right? I've tasted the juice the last 3 years. It still kind of blows me away when Nate and I talk about ourselves and we combine them together. With under 3 years, only being full-time a year and a half, we've sold over a combined $2 million worth of product because the Amazon sales channel is that good. So to me, the juice is definitely worth the squeeze. Now, if you would have asked me 3 years ago, right, that on this day, would I be talking about selling on Amazon? I would have said, you are crazy. My wife and I were happy. We were satisfied in our chosen career. You guys that know me know my story. We were house parents for 12 at-risk teenage boys. We did that for 15 years. We were planning on retiring, right, as house parents. I loved what I did. I was a social work youth ministry major, so house parenting was like right in my wheelhouse. I enjoyed working with my wife. It was a lifestyle profession. And believe it or not, the salary was pretty good. I think like our total compensation when we left was upwards of $150,000. So we enjoyed it. We were impacting kids' lives. It was a very emotionally satisfying job. Life was good, right? And then I started selling on Amazon. So those of you who are in the chat room, you may have experienced this too. When you begin to sell on Amazon, sometimes things begin to turn upside down. I started just part-time, right? Just to do it as a hobby. But what I started to find is like all my stuff was selling out. I couldn't keep my product in stock. And so that first year that I was doing it as a hobby, very part-time hours, I sold $120,000 worth of product. Now, the Amazon business was growing so fast that we had to make a decision. Either we were going to scale it down and continue in our chosen profession, or as we prayed about it, we were wondering if God was kind of leading us in another direction. And so we decided to sell on Amazon full time. So we took that leap of faith. And that year, I finished the year out. I was full-time for 6 months, and I sold $420,000. So picture that. And, you know, if you ever watch the show Shark Tank, it's kind of crazy because people will come on there, and they'll have only sold like $20,000 or $30,000 worth of product, right? And they're trying to build this business. Now, here I was only part-time, just I'm sure like a lot of you in the chat room. I sold 120, 6 months of full-time, 420, and then 12 months, right, of full-time. Last year, 2015, I sold $875,000 worth of product. That is probably, more than probably 60 or 70% of the people that go on Shark Tank. But it shows you the power of the Amazon sales channel. So, the question is, why am I sharing with you? Because I believe if you haven't already, right, that 2016 is a time for you and I again to awaken and embrace the best e-commerce sales platform in the world, right? And I know this probably sounds like a commercial for Amazon, but when you've experienced something, right, that's so good, and when you see the potential of something, I guess you got to share it. And so that's kind of like what Nate and I have enjoyed doing. We really enjoy sharing what we've seen such powerful potential of. So, if you've been daydreaming, now's the time to put your plan into action. Because here's the thing, just like my Apple computer, right, or just like my iPhone, Amazon works. Now, if you're a PC user, you can put your earplugs in because Amazon's not a PC. It's not Rakuten or it's not Sears.com. It's a sales channel that reaches the masses and continues, right, to put all of its earnings into becoming the best customer-centric sales platform in the world. You know that here's the deal. On the books, right, Amazon shows that they're not profitable. If you've read about the company at all, but that's because every penny that they make, they keep building out their infrastructure. And just by the way, I'm going kind of fast here. And so if you have questions at all, Nate's going to try to answer them in the chat. And then you can also put a Q with a backslash before your question, and it won't get lost in the chat. All right,
Andy?
Yeah.
For some reason, your camera appears to be frozen. We're all just seeing a frozen picture of you. We can hear you good.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I see that now.
Frozen.
Huh.
So I don't know if something with the camera got reset or what.
Okay.
We could try to kick you off and have you rejoin real quickly.
Yeah. Let me bump off and then we'll try to get.
So Andy will be right back. We could hear him, but we were getting a frozen picture. But he had some good content going on there. So join right back in, Andy. And I'll answer some of these questions while Andy's on hold here. Mr. Wonderful asked, what is the product being sold? So Andy started off with retail purchasing, retail arbitrage, retail sourcing, whatever you want to call it. He at first started buying products from retail stores and selling them on Amazon for a profit. He also was then going to online purchasing or arbitrage, selling items he bought up from big stores and then sold on Amazon. From there, Andy went to private label, and that's really his bread and butter, he'll call it, and he'll get into this more, I'm sure. Private label makes up over 90% of Andy's sales now throughout the year, typically. And I have to open this back up. Sorry, Andy. Now you can get in. Private label makes up over 90% of his sales now. That's where he's importing products from China, and that's where Andy is really, really selling well now. And Andy, we can see you now, so I'm going to have you pick it right back up there.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened.
The frozen chosen. Okay, so let me let me see where I was at here. So Amazon, right? They keep building more warehouses, right? Not only in the USA but all over the world, because they know that having product close to the customer is what the retail game is all about, right? So they want to be able to ship to you and I within 2 hours. I really honestly believe within the next 5 years, we're probably going to see Amazon have that ability for the majority of the United States, that when we put an order on as a Prime customer, it'll show up on our doorstep within 2 hours. That's why they're going to crush the competition. The cool part is, right, they let you and I come along for the ride. We get to partake in the profits of one of the largest companies in the world. No other mega company gives you and I that kind of profit sharing opportunity. And here's the thing, they've spent hundreds of millions of dollars to build out a platform that allows third-party sellers like me to work out of the basement of my house. That's where I am right now. You can see behind me, right, the window. I'm in a basement. My house was built in the 1960s. The good part about having a house built in the 1960s, it is bomb-proof, all right? They built these as bomb-proof houses. I have actually a bomb shelter in my house. So if a tornado hits, or if a bomb ever comes like we thought it was in the 60s, my family's going to be fine. Although the bad part about having a house built in the 1960s is it's kind of like the money pit. Those of you who have older houses, you're always fixing something, the plumbing or the sewer or something about that. So that was a little sidebar conversation. Sorry about that. So the Amazon FBA program, right, it was revolutionary. 2007, they allowed us, right, third-party sellers to use their resources to fulfill products and handle all the customer service to my customers. And if you've ever sold on eBay, you know how needy customers can be. When I sell stuff on eBay, I will get messages. Did you ship it yet? Is it coming? I have not received it yet. And I got to answer every single one of those. Man, that is a lot of work that Amazon takes on for our behalf. Okay. So to me, that's just amazing. And what's terrific about selling on Amazon is you can choose how big you want to grow. If you want to do just part-time, right, earn a little income, you can do that. I know sellers who sell $25,000, $100,000, $500,000, $2 million, and $10 million a year. Those are personal sellers I know. And those are all business decisions that they've chosen. That's how they want to make, that's what they want to make with their business. So you can go whatever speed you want, right? And so I'll say my thesis again. And by the end of the show, you're going to be tired probably of me saying this. But I want to say it because I believe it at the bottom of my heart. If you have not yet been awakened to the awesome possibilities of Amazon, and if you've not embraced it yet, then make 2016 a year that you learn everything about it. The cool thing is there's a lot of different business models you can choose from. If you like in-store shopping, you can make that your primary business model. Harvey Specter, who's been selling for less than 2 years. Now get this is mind-blowing. He's been selling on Amazon less than 2 years. In 2015, he sold $2.4 million of product doing all in-store shopping. So he was just on his, on the ground going to Toys R Us, Target, Walmart, Kohl's. He's got one full-time employee, his brother, and he was flipping those buys. And he sold $2.4 million worth of product on Amazon. What business can you do that in where you can just come right in and generate that type of revenue? And so, the thing is, though, Harvey's mind, it was awakened and he embraced it. And that's why he's able to do, those kind of numbers. And so when you go all in, right, good things will happen to you. But you have to feel that in your gut, right? You have to have a passion for it. So, it's like I can't talk someone into having a passion to sell on Amazon. A lot of my friends here in Hershey, they'll ask me about it, and I can tell usually by the end of my second sentence if they're really interested or not. If their eyes start to glaze over, then I just have a real quick reply and then I'm done. Then I can tell the other ones who are hungry because they'll keep bugging me. They'll be relentless and they won't stop bugging me, right? Those are the ones I can tell are beginning to have a passion for it. And so once you get that and once you decide, that you're all in, then I think that's when good things really start to happen. And so early on, I saw that the juice was worth the squeeze. And a lot of that had to do with Chris Green. I started watching a lot of his content. I read his book, right? And he's the one that awakened me to the possibilities of selling on Amazon. And once I got to that level, I knew, like, look, this is a golden opportunity. We're still at the ground level of this. 10% of all goods are only purchased online. So that's a huge upside. That's when I knew, that the juice, again, was worth the squeeze. And I think when you get to that point, and if you're in the chat room and maybe you haven't got to that point yet, maybe you're still working full time and that's cool. But if you're in the chat room and you're working full time, but there's a sense, right, in you that wants to go full time, maybe you don't like your job, right? You're going to hit a moment where you got to make that decision. You got to decide, hey, look, I believe what all these guys are saying. I believe the potential and the opportunity is there, and you go all in. And I think once you do that, it's kind of like the law of attraction. Good things are going to happen to you. So I'm going to share a story with you about Leo Wells, all right? And you can Google his name. You'll bring him up. When I first started, I was doing retail arbitrage, and I was with Dwayne Malik and John Grollo. And we were in John Grollo's hometown where he lived at the time. And John was a guy who I started reaching out to and asking questions of. And I saw that he was a really smart seller. He sold $1 million, primarily doing in-store sourcing. And so I said, hey, John, can I tag along with you? Can I follow you? And, he didn't know me from Adam, but I kept at it. And he finally said, okay, come on down. And just at the same time, Dwayne, who I just met, he was going down as well. So the three of us were sourcing at Walgreens. We had our scanners out. We're just going through the aisles. And this guy walks up to me, and him and his wife. And he's probably like 65, 70. He says, hey, what are you doing? And I said, I'm scanning. I sell on Amazon. I always tell everybody, what I do. And he says, wow, that's interesting. And so he just started talking to me and asking me, right, about the business, question after question. And like when you're scanning, generally you don't want to be bothered because you're working, right? And so, you just want to be able to find those products. You don't want to, but for some reason, I really felt like talking to this guy. He kind of had a gentle spirit, him and his wife. And so, I ended up talking to him for about 15 minutes, right? John and Dwayne were in the other aisle scanning. So the gentleman leaves with his wife. And then about 5 minutes later, he comes back and he says, hey, I really like what you're doing here. I see, that you're really hustling. And then he says this, all right, are you ready for this? He says, what would you be able to do if you had like $500,000 in capital? He said, or even what if you had $1 million in capital? And I said, oh, wow, that I thought he was kidding, joking. So I'd be able to scale up, really fast. I'd probably have to hire some employees. And so then he says, well, here's my card. And he gives me his business card. He says, if you're interested in any capital for your business, give me a call. So, I thought he was kind of joking or whatever, but Dwayne and John were there. And so he left. Well, sure enough, I go home and I Google his name, and he's created and he owns a multi-billion-dollar real estate hedge fund. All right. His name is Leo Wells. Again, you can look him up. I think his firm is in Atlanta. He has this huge office building that his firm owns right downtown Atlanta. And so why do I tell you that story? Because I think when you go all in on something, that the law of attraction really starts to happen in your life, right? And I can't explain it. All I can say is, it's kind of like Yoda. There is no do or do not, or there's no try. There's either do or do not. And so that was just a cool story, Leo Wells story. I always remember it. I'll tell you the end of it, though, was I got home, contacted him. He put me in touch with his lawyer. And what do you think happened when I got in touch with his lawyer? Like all lawyers, he wanted to know exactly what I was doing. He asked me a million questions, and I'm sure his lawyer was telling him, look, you're crazy. So it ended up coming back. He only wanted to loan us like $50,000. And to me, it just wasn't worth it at that time. I was still working my full-time job. However, it was still an opportunity that was presented. I thought it was pretty cool. And I think that kind of stuff happens when you go all in on something. So that's my Leo Wells story. So look, when you're out there scanning, don't be afraid to talk to people, because you never know when you might be talking to someone like Leo Wells, who actually is interested in giving you some major money, right, as a loan. So pretty cool. Look him up, Leo Wells. So, I love the Amazon because you can do a lot of different business models. If you like staying home, right, you can do online shopping. I know a seller, again, who did over 3 million last year in 2015 doing all online shopping. He never touched the product. He shipped everything to a prep and pack company. They sent it to Amazon, and it's just him, no employees, no wholesale, just purchasing product from websites and flipping them on Amazon. And so, for me, like one of my goals last year was to begin to outsource a lot of the prep and packing and shipping of my private label products. That was a system that I had to get in place because I was getting too slammed, right, with product here at my house. My house just isn't big enough to handle the inventory, right, that I'm pushing into Amazon now. And so, for me, it was a great way to set that up. Now all my private label products get shipped to Brendan at Prime Zero Prep. He does an amazing job. And I'm moving toward my business goal has always been to run my Amazon business from my laptop. That's what I want to be able to do. And I think with all the services that are available now and with the internet's capability that basically anybody can, if you're doing online, private label, wholesale, you can really run it from your laptop, which is pretty awesome. So, if you like wholesale, you can make that your business model. Again, I know sellers who make 6-figure incomes and all they're selling is products that they get from wholesalers, right? If creating a brand excites you, then you can make private labeling your primary business model. Many of you know, like for me, that's the cornerstone of my business. I import my products from China and from India, and I sold over 750,000 just last year of my branded products, right, on Amazon. If you're a creative type, and again, we're just talking about all the amazing ways that you can generate and make income in your Amazon business. If you're a creative type, you can bundle name brand products, which is just like creating your own private label product. And if you're in Slamazon Bros Facebook group, you saw there was a Valentine's bundle we posted in the group, and that seller is killing it. He has 92 reviews. He did a good job. He reached out to some of the top reviewers who gave him excellent reviews. And last year, right before Valentine's, this guy, which all of his items are basically dollar store items, he got down to 18 rank, right? Which means he was selling a boatload of these things. His probably entire business model could be based on that one bundle. It sells so good around Valentine's Day. So, another way is liquidation model. When I first started selling, right, I made a killing on products I purchased at local liquidation stores. And you'll see, I think, in my area, a lot more grocery liquidation stores are popping up. I don't know if they're in your area. There is some fantastic opportunity there. You got to be careful with the dates, right? Because generally that's why the product gets shipped there. But I would get a lot of grocery stuff there that was still 6 to 9 months out. And so that gave me a 3-month selling window. And if it had a good sales velocity, I would blow through that stuff in a month and a half. So I'll tell you like 2 of my huge hits when I first started selling. One was meal, which I don't think you can send into Amazon FBA anymore because they hazmat it. Meal is a drink enhancer. And whatever the ingredient is, Amazon for some reason hazmated it. But before they hazmated it, I sold a boatload of meal and made some really good money. And I bought all that just at my local liquidation grocery store. Another one is Crystal Light. Crystal Light, you can still make a boatload of money. If you go on Amazon, you'll see the different bundles, right, that people create. Amazon shoppers, for some reason, they love their Crystal Light. So right there are 2 tips for you. if you see Crystal Light on sale, if you're smart and you know how to coupon, and look at some of those bundles, and you'll see the margins are really good. And a lot of times the sales velocity on those is outstanding. So if you're not excited about Amazon already, if you're not awakened to the possibilities, I hope right by the end of this blab, you will be. So Amazon for me is a lifestyle choice, right? I homeschool my 2 kids. I enjoy being with them. Selling on Amazon allows me to do that. I enjoy the fact I can go on vacation, right? Just like I am this week. I shared at the beginning of the show. I'm going on the Scanner Monkey e-commerce cruise. And so I'm excited to be able to do that. And while I'm there, my inventory is still going to be selling $1,500, $2,000 a day. And I don't have to do anything because of the magic, right, of FBA. And I think that's probably why so many people are interested in selling on Amazon. In my mind, right, there's no better way that you can start a business and almost immediately it can become profitable. And if you've been selling for a while, I'm sure you're like me where, I get probably like 5 to 10 messages a day from people asking me how to get started selling on Amazon. And if you're in the chat room right now and, you haven't started selling yet, definitely go to Slamazon Bros, check out that Facebook group. And I think that it's fantastic because all I see is upside. I just think there's so much potential. There's so many more products that need to be put on Amazon as well. And so, again, if you've been selling for a while, you're probably like me. I get a lot of requests for personal coaching, right? And I don't have the time to do it. And quite honestly, like my business is doing so well that I'm not willing to sacrifice the time to take away from my business, and I'm not willing to sacrifice the time to take away from my family. And so I'll turn a lot of personal coaching requests down just because the time's not there. So, I've shared this with Nate, and I've been trying to figure out a way, right, to help people get started, how to help them grow their Amazon business while maintaining my own business and not killing, right, our families in the process. So I always point people toward Chris Green's book, which is awesome, but they always come back and they want to know how I've been able to do it. Nate gets a lot of the same questions too. So Nate, about 7 or 8 weeks ago, suggested that we do a type of Amazon boot camp training program. So that's actually for the last 6 weeks, Nate and I have been working on that. We're almost done with it. I'm obviously biased. I think it's going to be one of the best Amazon training programs available. Nate and I show the exact process, how we've been able to sell over $2 million in the last 3 years. Most courses, right, that I see, they really teach how to source one way for a product. It's either wholesale, retail. They don't go in depth in what I think are the 4 major ways to obtain inventory, which is retail, online, wholesale, and then my specialty, private label. So it's been cool. I've been working. Nate's been making me get up at 6 in the morning for the last 6 weeks, right, to help him make these videos, which I'm not. I've become accustomed to my Amazon seller lifestyle where I stay up late and I wake up late. So he's actually changed that for me. But I'm excited. He's pushed me to do something that I've never done before. I think that we've created a tremendous training program that's going to help a lot of people. And it's good for me because, again, all the time I get messages and I'm always pointing people to other places. And now I'm going to be able to point them to something that Nate and I have created that I stand behind 100%. So I'm excited about coming out with that. So I'm ending the blab here, and I say this. I'm going to come back to the question, all right, everyone in the chat room. And then, Nate, if you can answer some of the questions there. The question is this: is the juice worth the squeeze? And my thesis is the Amazon juice is absolutely, positively, without a doubt, worth all the squeezing we can give it. So if you're not already doing it, I hope that you will awaken and embrace the opportunity you and I have to really make a lot of money in a short amount of time on the Amazon sales channel. All right. So that's my sermon for the day. Thanks a lot, you guys. I appreciate all of you. Thanks so much for taking time out of your day. I see there's 50 people in the chat room. Nate and I appreciate the interaction. You guys give us so much energy. If you're not in Slamazon Bros, definitely check that out. And we appreciate you. All right, Nate, back to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna Yeah, I'm going to answer a couple of these questions here, but yeah, thanks, Andy. That was great. Like I said, to start off the show, Andy always motivates me and it helps me. Andy, if you want to mute your mic real quick too, we're getting a little feedback. But Andy always motivates me. Hopefully he's motivated you here. I'm going to answer a couple of these questions or best to my ability. Mr. Wonderful asks, getting products is great, but how are you getting customers to view your product? Do you cover that? I have a product, but haven't figured out how to get customers to view the product. Yes, Mr. Wonderful, we cover that exactly. Getting people to view your products is not overly complicated, but there is a process to it. There's, a technique, not really a secret, but there's certain ways to do it. And if you don't do it, if you don't get people to view your product, it's not going to do very well. There's lots of products on Amazon, so getting people to view your products is one of the main things that we do go over in, Andy goes over in his course a lot. There's things that you can find out. There's videos and Facebook groups that help you for free out there. We definitely cover this in the training program we're going through. But basically you have to either run promotions or you have to, give away products. You have to do certain things to help people view your product better, and we cover that in detail. Alex asks, what's the best wholesaler? That's kind of a hard question, Alex. There's thousands of wholesalers out there, many of them that are good. We go through how we think that you should find products and then find wholesalers to meet those products. So that's part of the training program we have put together, is how to find good wholesalers to meet the product needs that you have. But there's thousands of good wholesalers out there, so I don't think I can identify a best wholesaler. Someone asked, basically, what are you selling and where are you getting products? Like Andy said, Andy mostly sells private label products, but we both sell products that we obtain from retail stores and online, wholesale, and private label. So I think that does it for the questions. Basically, I think people are wondering, what is this that we're working on? When does it come out? I see a question here. The training program that we have for Slamazon Bros will be available about 2 weeks. I know we have a lot of people who haven't gotten started yet and who are looking to expand their business in new ways. So that's going to be available in about 2 weeks from now, after Andy gets back from his cruise. After he's all tanned up, we'll have that ready for you guys. But I think that's about it. So next week, everyone, I'm going to be flying solo. Andy's going to be gone. He's going to be out of town. But don't worry, I'm going to give you something good. We're going to have a good show. I'm going to show you some items that I actually have sold on Amazon. I'll show you 10, 15, we'll see how many products that I've sold and made really good money. Almost all these products are going to be products that I either purchased in stores or purchased online and then sold for a great profit, 200, 300, 500% ROI. So I thought that would be interesting to show you guys some products that I've actually purchased, actually sold on Amazon, give you a little bit of idea if this business model works even from a retail and online standpoint. And then I'll talk a little bit again about wholesale and private label and how that's working out well for me too. But I think that's all for this week. A big thank you to everyone who joined us today live. We really appreciate that. We appreciate all the tweets and all the Facebook shares. And then anyone that's watching this on YouTube, again, if you can give us a thumbs up or leave a comment, we appreciate that. Andy, I don't know if you have anything else to add, but I think that'll do it today. We're a little over time. And again, we just appreciate everyone for joining us. That'll do it. Thanks, everyone.